Franklin Roy Frank Bruno MBE is an English former professional boxer who was known for his good punch power and whose career highlight was winning the WBC Heavyweight Championship in 1995 against Oliver McCall at Wembley Stadium. Frank Bruno won 40 of his 45 bouts, and out of the 40 fights Bruno won he had 38 knockouts, giving Frank Bruno a 95% knockout rate of the fights he won. Frank Bruno's overall knockout percentage is 84.44%. Like Henry Cooper before him, Bruno has remained a popular celebrity with the British public since his ring career ended. Boxing career: Bruno became a professional boxer in 1982, quickly racking up a streak of 21 consecutive wins by knockout. This streak caught the attention of international boxing magazines, such as The Ring, KO Magazine, Boxing Illustrated and Ring NSPAR ±all. During this period Bruno defeated former world title contender Scott Ledoux, the dangerous fringe contender Floyd Cummings, Belgian champion Rudy Gore, British contenders Tony Moore and Eddie Nielsen, and well-known trial horses such as Bill Sharkey, Walter Santamore and Ken Lacuster. However, in May 1984 the up-and-coming future world heavyweight champion, American James Bone Crusher Smith, halted that streak when he defeated Bruno by knockout in the 10th and final round of their bout, with Bruno leading clearly on all three judges' cards. As a general view, Bruno was carefully managed, whereby he developed well to later give a strong account of himself in the big matches. Bruno won his next 6 bouts against respected opposition. He won the European heavyweight title with a KO over Sweden's Anders Eklund, KO'd former European champion and world title contender Lucien Rodriguez in 1 round, was taken the distance for the first time by the useful world-rated Phil Brown, and beat fringe fighters Larry Frazier and Jeff Jordan. Bruno got back into title contention with an impressive 1-round KO win over former WBA champion Jerry Kwesi of South Africa, and, in July 1986, he challenged Tim Witherspoon for the WBA heavyweight title. After once again leading on the cards for most of the fight, he ran out of steam and was defeated by knockout in round 11. Bruno once again got himself back into title contention with wins over former contender James Tillis and journeyman Reggie Gross and Chuck Gardner. In October 1987 Bruno faced the veteran Joe Byner in an all-British match-up. Byner, although long past his peak, was coming off impressive wins over Greg Page, James Tillis and David Bay. Bruno won by TKO in the 8th round, the referee stopping the bout, although it appeared the protesting Byner could have continued. In 1989, Bruno challenged Mike Tyson for the undisputed world heavyweight title. In the opening moments, the fighters came together with huge punches. Bruno's legs buckled, and he took a big step back, inadvertently stepping off the ring apron. Most agree that he would have gone down, at least to a knee in any event, and this was called a knockdown. Bruno did not complain, and instead gathered himself to continue, ultimately rocking Tyson with a left hook toward the end of the round. However, Tyson recovered and eventually beat Bruno when the referee stopped the contest in round 5 with Bruno taking heavy punishment, lying helpless on the ropes. Bruno kept winning fights, helping him to retain his spot as one of the world's leading heavyweights. He defeated contender Carl Williams, and then journeymen such as Jose Ribalta, Pierre Cueza, and Dutchman Jan Emmen. In 1993 he had a third world title chance against young Lennox Lewis, who was making the second defense of the belt. The Lennox Lewis vs Frank Bruno fight was the first time that 2 British boxers had fought for the world heavyweight title. Lewis beat Bruno on a stoppage in round 7, Bruno again failing to take his title chance after leading the contest on points up until what proved the final round. Bruno again regrouped, dispatching trial horse Jesse Ferguson in 1 round, and the fringe contenders Rodolfo Marin and Mike Evans equally easily. On September 24, 1994, Oliver McCall beat Lewis with a surprising and somewhat controversial second-round knockout victory at Wembley Arena, and, after outpointing Larry Holmes, he came to England to defend the WBC title against Bruno. On September 2, 1995, Bruno finally became world champion by outpointing McCall over 12 rounds. Bruno did not last long as champion. The contract he signed to get McCall meant he had to face Mike Tyson in his first defense. Tyson beat Bruno on a stoppage in round 3, Bruno performing unusually poorly in what turned out to be his last bout as a professional, due to a severe eye injury caused by Tyson. Bruno was advised not to fight again to avoid running the risk of causing any more damage to it, which could result in permanent blindness. Bruno retired soon after the fight. Bruno's publicist throughout most of his career was sports historian Norman Giller, who wrote 3 books in harness with Frank, Know What I Mean, Eye of the Tiger and From Zero to Hero. His manager for all but his last 5 fights was Terry Lawless, who signed him as a professional shortly after he had become ABA heavyweight champion at the age of 18. Personal life: Bruno grew up with 5 siblings in a terraced house in Wandsworth, South London, where his parents had settled after moving to England from the Caribbean. In 1990, he married his partner Laura at a small church in Hornchurch, an area of Greater London near the border with Essex. They had 2 daughters, Nicola and Rachel, and a son, Franklin. However, their relationship deteriorated, and they divorced in 2001. On September 22, 2003, Bruno was taken from his home near Brentwood in Essex by medical staff assisted by police officers, under the provisions of the Mental Health Act 1983. He was taken to Goodmayes Hospital in Ilford, where he underwent psychological and psychiatric tests. He had been suffering from depression for several months beforehand. He was later diagnosed as having bipolar disorder. On October 9, 2005, he admitted that his cocaine use, which began in 2000, contributed to his mental health problems. Media coverage of Bruno's problems raised controversy. The principal accusations were gross intrusion and insensitivity. Particular criticism was aimed at The Sun, whose headline in the first editions the next day read "Bonkers Bruno Locked Up." Second editions retracted the headline and attempted to portray a more sympathetic attitude towards Bruno and mental health in general. As an attempt at atonement, the paper established a charity fund for people suffering from mental illness, although some mental health charities condemned the SUNA-Euro's latter action that day as being grossly cynical in the light of the former. On February 24, 2008, Bruno offered his support to former footballer Paul Gascoigne, who on February 21 had been sectioned under the Mental Health Act. Bruno also spoke on his own personal experiences in the mental health system at a conference run by Hari Sewell, on June 22, 2009. In December 2013, Bruno spoke to the Daily Mirror in support of their mental health campaign, stating, "Mental illness is a terrible thing to have to cope with, but a unregistered trademark they learned a unregistered trademark SA fight you can win if you live your life the right way." In December 2005, Bruno announced that he was to become a father for the 4th time since finding new romance with old friend Yvonne Clydesdale. The pair, who first met 5 years previously at a health resort, began dating months after bumping into each other at a wine bar near his home. Yvonne gave birth to baby Freya on May 10, 2006. On October 10, 2006, Bruno and his partner Yvonne Clydesdale were jointly awarded a £50,000 damages for libel against the People newspaper and publishers MGN in respect of false claims made about the pair's relationship. In 2006, Bruno published an autobiography, Frank, Fighting Back. It won the Best Autobiography category of the British Sports Book Awards. Media appearances and non-boxing interests. Bruno's image was enhanced by his relationship with the BBC boxing commentator Harry Carpenter, his appearances on the early comic relief programmes in the 1980s and his frequent appearances thereafter on television and on stage. In 1991, he opened the Ultimate at Lightwater Valley, which was, at the time, the longest roller coaster in the world. He described the ride scarier than Mike Tyson. In 1995, the year of his World Championship, he released a cover version of Eye of the Tiger, the theme song of the movie Rocky III. It reached number 28 in the UK charts. In 1999, he featured on the Celebrity Special in the second season of Fort Boyard. In January 2001, Bruno announced that he wanted to stand as the Conservative candidate in the traditionally safe Tory seat of Brentwood and Ongar against the independent Member of Parliament, Martin Bell. His proposed slogan was "Don't be a plank, vote for Frank." However, this idea was quickly dismissed by Conservative Central Office. But in an interview with BBC Sport at the time, Bruno laughed at the story and denied he had any intention of standing. In 2006, he was one of a number of celebrities who were recorded on the World Cup song, "Who Do You Think You Are Kidding?" Jurgen Klinsmann. On August 15, 2009, he appeared on The Weakest Link, beating Duke Mackenzie in the final for a £12,800. He had a small role in the 2008 British crime drama Cass. Bruno made a brief guest appearances in episodes of the ITV comedy show, Harry Hill's TV Burp, in February and October 2011. On April 21, 2011, Bruno appeared on the ITV1 chat show The Alan Titchmarsh Show, where he was candid about his previous health issues. In 2011, he made a guest appearance in Sooty. On April 20, 2012, Bruno was featured in the ITV series Piers Morgan's Life Stories. He supports West Ham whilst also having an affinity for Aberdeen. Bruno completed the 2011 London Marathon, which is the third marathon he has run successfully. He has also run numerous half marathons. He is also a patron for the Shannon Bradshaw Trust, a children's charity. Bruno regularly makes personal appearances and also sells autographed items of memorabilia. On July 23, 2013, Bruno was featured in the BBC Three documentary Rachel Bruno, My Dad and Me. See also, List of heavyweight boxing champions, List of European Boxing Union heavyweight champions, references. External links, official website, professional boxing record for Frank Bruno from BoxRec, Frank Bruno in the 21st Century, a Euro tribute on BritishBoxing.net, profile, Frank Bruno, a Euro BBC News profile, September 22, 2003, How Bruno's Troubles Began, a Euro BBC Sport article, September 23, 2003.